We're blaming you.
It's kind of lonely up here.
Want to stand by the sign? There we go. Thank
Well,
you.
good evening. Questions, anyone?
What was your main message here tonight, Congressman Schock?
Well, I was asked to speak on support. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about, the need to restore some balance and to make some changes in Washington, D.C. And as important as rallies and events like this have been, as important as marches in Washington, D.C. and different Tea Party rallies and grassroots efforts are, the reality is it comes down to the votes. It comes down to actually getting people engaged, registered to vote and out to vote. And so my call to action during my remarks was really that, if you care about these principles we've talked about, if you care about making a difference, get out and vote, get people registered and actually get to work.
Have you been to any of the Tea Party caucus meetings in Washington, D.C.?
I have not.
Have you heard maybe kind of how they're going? I know Michelle Bachmann's been spearheading that.
I'm not aware of any of the meetings. So I know that she formed the caucus, and I know Michelle well, but I haven't been to any of the meetings if there have been, and so.
Would you be against going to any of those kind of meetings?
No,
or?
absolutely not.
Would you?
Okay.
We're from Discover Your True North, and we're about education documentaries. What inspirational words can you say to students about your education experience to help you have a career in public service? I know it's not a political question, but it's my job.
Am I speaking to a camera, or am I?
You are.
Oh, that one right there, okay. So you want to know
Students.
about...
Your education background and how it helped you choose a career for public service.
Well, my career in public service really began as a result of education. I ran for the school board when I was 19 because I had all my high school credits at the end of my junior year. And the school board at the time, in their infinite wisdom, decided that college was not right for me and I should stay another year and just take PE. So I didn't think that made sense, and so I started investigating who the school board was and why they were making these decisions. I was in a very large urban district, 38 schools, 16,000 kids, the 5th largest in the state of Illinois. And that's what ultimately caused me to run for the school board, was seeing need, wanting to step up to fill that need, feeling there needed to be somebody younger on the school board. Actually ran against the youngest school board member, who was 52, and the chairman of the school board, the president of the school board. And it was a lesson in politics. I ran and she took me to court, had me thrown off the ballot on a technicality, and I ended up having to run as a write-in candidate. So that was an education in running for education as a form of getting involved in the political process.
So what positive words can you say about education and going on to college for them?
Well, I think the big misnomer is we expect young people to know right now what they want to be. I can't tell you how many times people asked me when I was growing up, what do you want to be someday? And really, I believe in experiential learning. I think no matter what you're doing in high school, get a job. It doesn't matter if it's waiting tables or working at a fast food restaurant or I worked at a gravel pit when I was in high school. You learn so much, and it puts a different perspective on life, and you can figure out what you like, you can figure out what you don't like. And in college, when I entered college, I didn't know I was going to major in finance, but I did learn as I had to take all the core curriculum that I liked accounting, that I liked finance, and that's how I chose my path. Now I'm in politics, so who would have thought back then that when I chose finance I'd be in Congress? But it all has worked well, and I just think young people, there's a lot of pressure on them, especially at a young age, to make decisions early on. And the reality is that in our society now, you really got to be a lifelong learner. And most people will have multiple professions before they reach retirement age, and so they just have to be prepared for those changes and look at life more as a learning process than really as a destination point when you're 25 and you get out and you're going to get your job for life.
Yeah, that's great. So just because you graduate with a specific degree, your life experience can help, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the exact study right now, but Harvard University came out with a study a few years ago that showed that less than half of those who graduate with a bachelor degree actually work in that profession 10 years later. So most people who go to college and get their degree either go on to some kind of an advanced degree or find another path in life. But no doubt those college degrees help them earn more money and open more doors.
Thank you.
Next question.
Yeah.
Hi, I know that in your speech you had mentioned that this is ground zero for the Republicans taking back Congress. Why, in your opinion, is Illinois so important, so crucial? And I know it's early, but can you tell me about
Sure.
what's going on?
Well, there's no surprise Illinois is considered a deep blue state. It's viewed as obviously the president's home state, so it would arguably be one of the tougher territories for Republicans to pick up an advantage, win statewide races, win congressional races. And if you follow Illinois politics, you know many of those things are looking to be a reality, if not a certainty. Bill Brady, Mark Kirk have real shots, and I would bet on their likelihood of winning their races statewide. Congressional races around the state, like the Illinois 11 with Debbie Halverson. You got a guy like Adam Kinzinger who's ahead in the polls right now. You've got Randy Hultgren who's running against Bill Foster who's ahead. You've got Bobby Schilling who's just broken loose over in the Phil Hare district, the polls showing neck and neck. This is in Obama's home state in a very blue state. So I would argue if we can win 2 or 3 congressional races in Illinois, you know what's happening in Ohio. You know what's happening in Florida, in states like Missouri. So I would say it's a good temperature gauge for how the rest of the country is looking, and it's ground zero because the National Republican Party and the Democratic National Parties know that how Illinois goes, so goes the rest of the country.
And compared to past years, as you mentioned, Sebastian for Democrats, so compared to past years, do you feel this progress is being more so, is it more apparent?
Absolutely. I will tell you as a candidate last year that ran in an open seat in the year of the presidency, I felt the Obama tsunami. And it was very relevant in terms of turnout, in terms of excitement on the Democratic side, and I can tell you that has shifted to the Republican side, even when I'm downtown Chicago. We go to a Cubby Bear event with Chicago Young Republicans, and there's over 1,000 kids there. You know that the wave is in our direction. Yeah.
Congressman, I was wondering if you noticed that the biggest response you got was when you mentioned the state of Arizona, and I was wondering what you thought of that.
Well, clearly, my remark was about the fact that the president needs to realize what the true threats to America are, the rogue states of Iran and North Korea, not the state of Arizona. And I think there was a 2-point. One is, the federal government's got enough issues to deal with. Clearly, they failed when it comes to fixing the immigration problem, and Arizona's attempted to do that, and he has spent all his time, energy, and resources fighting Arizona as opposed to fighting the real enemies to America, which are Iran, which is a growing threat, which has gotten worse since he's become president, and North Korea, which has sunk a submarine, has killed South Koreans, allies of ours, and we've really done nothing other than to tell them we didn't like it.
Are you 100% behind John Boehner to be the next Speaker of the House?
Yeah, absolutely. I anticipate voting for him. I'm not aware of anyone else running, so that's the plan, I think. Nobody's told me otherwise. You could be the first.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.